Good morning, everyone, and welcome to County Executive Pittman's virtual press conference. This morning, the County Executive will provide updates on the budget, legislation, Plan 2040, and a number of other items. We'll take questions after those updates. As a reminder, please put your name and media affiliation in the chat, and I'll call on folks for questions in that order. Also, as a reminder, please keep your microphone and camera off unless you're called upon to ask a question. With that, Mr. County Executive.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. I want to start out with just a little bit more on the budget. Most of you are well aware that on Thursday last week, we put out a 30-minute video speech to the residents of Anne Arundel County about this extraordinary budget we're calling the best budget for all, that actually lowers taxes and sets future taxpayers up for protections against any economic downturns while still investing at record levels in the things that we have needed to catch up with this county's growth. But there are a few things that those of you who are reporters, I know you're always looking for a story, so I'm going to throw out a few hints at some that you might want to follow up on that I find interesting that were not included in either that 30-minute presentation or my shorter 15-minute version that I presented to the County Council on Friday morning. The pay packages for county employees were also pretty good. We negotiated contracts, of course, with all our bargaining units. All have ratified their contracts, and generally the cost of living increases were in the 4 to 4.5% range, and everybody got either their step or their merit, whatever they get within their unit, that is generally worth about 3%. So those were pretty good increases. Not quite the level of inflation, unfortunately, but still nevertheless record levels. And then for our lower wage workers, something I have been trying to do for the first 3 budgets is to guarantee that nobody gets paid less than the $15 minimum wage contract and county employees, and we managed to make that happen in this budget. The Resilience Authority, resilience to climate change, sea level rise, storm surges, that we created in our last year's budget and is about to be, well, we'll have an announcement very soon about staffing for that and appointment of a board. We added $1 million in this budget to projects for the Resilience Authority as it gets underway with its planning. We did a new shelter, community development services shelter demonstration project for yet another site to house our homeless individuals and families for $350,000. The library system is doing a kindergarten readiness outreach program. This is a brand new program meant to help us reach our goals for kindergarten readiness in Anne Arundel County with $660,000 and 6 new positions to reach out into the communities with the services that the libraries offer for younger children and their families. Forest Conservation Fund, I mentioned that we had rehabilitated this fund that had been depleted under the previous administration. But what I did not mention is that in doing so, we are providing a $500,000 grant to the Chesapeake Bay Trust for forest conservation, as well as transferring staff that was paid out of that Forest Conservation Fund into the general fund so that the fund can actually be used to protect forests rather than pay the county's staff expenses. Within our rec and parks budget, we try really hard not only to create new parks and improve the infrastructure in those parks, but to take care of them with staffing. And as our park system grows, historically, we have not kept up with staffing. So this budget includes $500,000 for new staff for the operating costs at the newly improved Beverly Triton Nature Park, as well as 3 additional new park maintenance positions for the county, an increase to our rec maintenance grants to community groups of $90,000, and a new parks vegetative management plan for $500,000 to manage the plants in the parks, take ivy off of trees, protect them, that sort of thing. And then almost done here, within animal care and control, they will finally, for the first time in their history, be able to hire a full-time veterinarian to take care of the animals that they have, as well as purchase a livestock trailer. We have had some large animals on the loose in this county and pick them up. That will change. And then within the fire department, some good news, in addition to everything else that I talked about in the budget speech, we have a much larger than normal recruit class coming in. So we provided $400,000 extra to accommodate that larger class of new firefighters and EMT coming on board. So just a few more things. You can always check in with Jeff and our team. We'll connect you with our departments to interview them about why these investments are being made and what they're going to do for the taxpayers and the residents of our county. Plan 2040, probably the most important thing that I have worked on in my time here is our way forward to make growth and development in our county greener, smarter, and more equitable. And one of the things that we said when we presented that plan to the council last year and got it approved was that, unlike past land use plans, that we were going to monitor the very, very specific recommendations that are in the plan and report back to the council and to the public every year. And already we have gotten through our first year, and our amazing team in long-range planning at Office of Plan and Zoning has put together our first Plan 2040 annual report that is going live, I believe, as we speak, online at aacounty.org/plan 2040. And the extraordinary statistic in here is that of the 400 strategies that are identified to implement Plan 2040, 70% of them, according to this report, are already started or completed or underway. And they're divided into our natural environment, our built environment, healthy communities, and healthy economy. So I encourage folks to take a look at that if there are land use nerds like many of us are, concerned about the environment, concerned about housing, concerned about how we're going to manage to grow in a way that works with the nature that we're trying to preserve. Last night there was a county council meeting, and one bill was passed that is actually part of implementing Plan 2040, which was Bill 3122 for the BRAC mixed use districts. And I just want to say that I came out near the end and was pretty aggressive about encouraging that this bill be passed and explaining what's in it, because there was some opposition that I think was based on some information that wasn't quite accurate about what the bill actually did. So I sent a letter to the stakeholder advisory committees that we have appointed, the committee in Region 2 near Fort Meade, and to let them know that I support the bill and why, and to let them know that, in fact, the work that they do will, the planning work that they do will accommodate what's in this bill, and that is not in any way undermining their work, and that we respect that work. The bill actually is to make it possible for some additional housing to be constructed close to the fort, where we've got new buildings opening up, new office space for the men and women who are protecting our country, particularly with Cyber Command and NSA, doing a lot of the work that we all know that we need desperately right now. So we have an office building opening up this year with 3,000 spaces, another one next year with another 3,000 or 3,000 employees, and then two more, 3,000 plus each in 26 and 28. And we're told by the commander there and all of those agencies that they need more housing that is close to the fort, so that cars are driven less and people can get to work more quickly, get to work by walking and biking. And that's the kind of smart growth that we're doing in Plan 2040. So I want to thank the council for their 7-0 vote on that bill last night. Also want to thank the council for their 7-0 vote on an anti-racism resolution that was brought to them by the Caucus of African American Leaders. And then I want to thank Dr. Kalyana Raman for his Department of Health presentation to the council, which sits as the Board of Health. Anybody can go back and look at that, and it's a really comprehensive look at the incredible work our Department of Health is doing for public health for our residents. And then quick note that Department of Public Works, some may be aware that with the shortage of drivers and difficulty some of the contractors maintaining their contracts, fulfilling them for curbside pickup of trash and recycling and yard waste, we had to make some changes in the days to accommodate some changes to address the problems that were there. So if you live in South County or in the Annapolis area, you this week may have a new trash pickup day, and you've been notified, but if you missed it, if you're not sure, if you live in the southern or Annapolis area, eastern parts of the county, not so much in north and west, go to aacounty.org/department/public works, and there will be a way to check. And finally, this month, May, is a month that we are celebrating a number of groups of people and issues. Mental Health Awareness Month is the month of May. And I was last night at Discovery's Library at the Westfield Annapolis Mall with our mental health agency celebrating the beginning of the month. There will be a series of events taking place. This week is Children's Mental Health Awareness Week. And I want to congratulate Alexis Hernandez, a 7th grader from Marley Middle School, who won a contest that they had. The contest was asking young people, what's your superpower? And Alexis put together a video on bullying that was a cartoon video that was very inspirational and right on. So thank you, Alexis, and congratulations. You can go to aamentalhealth.org and you can get information about what's going on this month to address mental health issues in the county. It's also Older Americans Month. We'll be celebrating that soon with an event. And then it's also Teacher Appreciation Week. And I want to thank all of the teachers in Anne Arundel County, as well as support staff. But this is Teacher Appreciation Week. And I guess our thanks came to you in the form of a $50 million increase over last year in financial support to our school system, as well as fully paying for the compensation package that the board requested. And a lot of new positions, 119 new special ed positions, 140 new classroom teachers. So, and fully funding your capital budget. So we hope that life in the schools only gets better and that you stick with us for a very long time, teachers. And it's also Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders Month. And we will be putting out some celebratory information about that as well. So I'll stop there and pass it back over to you, Jeff.
All right, we'll open it up for questions. Again, please put your name and media affiliation in the chat if you'd like to ask a question, and I'll call on folks in that order. All right, last call for questions. All right, Rob Lang, WBAL.
Good morning. I'll ask because everybody else is talking about it. Give me your thoughts on the leaked Roe v. Wade decision that came out last night. Mr. County Executive, I know you're not a federal official, but you've spoken out on this issue before.
Yeah, it was very disappointing news in my view. I have heard from a lot of constituents already, including my wife, my children, people in my family, that this, access to reproductive health care is access to health care. And, the ability to choose whether to have an abortion is a part of that, what we thought was a right in this country, according to the Supreme Court. And if, in fact, the Supreme Court's planning to take that right away, it will cost lives, and it is of great concern. So I'm not happy about it.
Maryland does have, they've codified Roe v. Wade into law. They did that back in 1992. There was an expansion of providers legislation that passed and is going to be enacted this fall. Is Maryland sort of different than other states in that abortion rights are protected?
Yeah, as long as we have democracy at the local level, we can pass laws to protect that right, and we've done so in Maryland. We'll continue to do so in Maryland, I believe, and we will have people in other states, I fear, who will not be able to get that health service, and they'll have to travel a long way to come to places like Maryland to get it.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Any additional questions, name and media affiliation in the chat? All right, we'll wrap there. Thanks, folks. We'll see you next week.